Alright, so now let's get into some of the spoilers, okay? Let me just straight up talk about the one thing that I think is hilarious to me. Magneto in this movie, it's been 10 years. I didn't mention this in the regular review, but it's been 10 years since the last movie, which right there, it's only been really 2 years in real life, but it's supposed to be 10 years in the movie since Days of Future Past happened, which it's only been 2 years in real life, so no one has really aged. Like, Quicksilver is still living with his mom. He still has the same Pac-Man cabinet in his room. His room looks almost exactly the same. It's been 10 years, and everything looks the same. Even my room, like, after, like, a couple months, you'll start seeing different stuff in the background and whatnot. Like, in the last year, I got a new thing here, and, well, that Titan's been there for a little while, but I got, like, this Mega Man Buster, and I moved some stuff around here. Like, his room looked exactly the same. It's just little things like that that really pull me out of it, because obviously they weren't even thinking about that 10 years. Like, it didn't matter. They just wanted to make it 10 years later because they want to get it closer to when the original X-Men movie came out, and also they want to add they want to add Jean Grey and Scott Summers, and it wouldn't make sense if they were still in the 70s, because then they'd be like, they would be like almost 40 by the time X-Men came out. But obviously it's all leading up to, like, coinciding with the original X-Men movie, which is fine with me. That's fine. Make a closed loop in a way. Even though, like, wouldn't the original X-Men be a little bit different now? Because now they know Nightcrawler, and X-Men 2, they didn't know who Nightcrawler was. At least I don't think so. Whatever. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So yeah, the moment I want to talk about, Magneto has a family. And admittedly, it's a very emotional scene because he has a family, he has a daughter. You know, it's been 10 years, so he's decided to settle down. Even though in Days of Future Past, the way it ended, it didn't seem like he was going to stop fighting the humans. It was just like he lost. That's what it felt like. It felt like he just lost. You know, it didn't feel like he was just like, all right, I guess I'm done. I guess I'll be a good guy. He just lost that time. He'll be back later. But I guess no, he decided to start a family. He moved to, I think, Germany, or somewhere. I don't remember. I don't remember where they were. But he started a family, and it's all nice. He works at some metal works place or whatever, and he saves someone from dying by using his powers, which means everybody saw him use it, so everybody's like, what the hell? Oh, he's Magneto? He's the guy that almost killed everybody that one time. He was about to kill all humans. Oh, screw that. So they all go, like a bunch of, like a riot, like a mob shows up to Magneto and threatens, like, to hurt his daughter. But you could tell they're kind of, like, hesitant about it. They don't want to hurt, like, Magneto's family. They just want Magneto. But something happens where Magneto's daughter, like, has a mutant power where she can, like interact with animals or something like that, or birds, and the birds, like, start swooping down on the mob, and the mob, one of the guys has a bow and arrow, and he has it, like, already ready. I forgot what that's called when it's, like, ready to fire. Cocked? No, it's like a whatever. And mistakenly one of them shoots it off and shoots it right through the daughter and the wife, because they're holding on to each other, and right through, boosh, which, by the way, he has to be, I feel like he has to be really strong, like a really good shot, like, really, like, I don't know, like, maybe he was really close. I guess he was really close too, and the daughter's, like, you know, skinny, so I guess that makes sense. Alright, whatever, fine. And Magneto's like, oh my god, it's really sad. It's actually very well done. He does a great job. Michael Fassbender's a great actor, and you can tell he's really sad. And one of the most badass moments happens where he has his mother's locket, who he lost in Auschwitz, which is really sad, and he uses that metal locket because nobody has metal around them because they know. He uses that to start killing every rioter or mob member, I guess, and he just, like, it's skewering them in the neck, and it's just like, and it's awesome, and he catches it, and it's really badass. And then I'm just like, wow, that was kind of badass, and that was sad. They should end it here with him crying on the ground, but they don't. They do the thing that made me laugh. Like, I tried not to laugh, but I was like, and I did that, and I still laugh. He looks up into the sky. Michael Fassbender, you're a great actor, but you couldn't pull this off. He looks into the sky and goes, "Is this what you want from me?" Ah! And it's so terrible. It's embarrassingly bad, and I couldn't believe Michael Fassbender read that in the script and went, okay. Like, he had to have said something. Like, there's no way Michael Fassbender would think, "Is this what you want from me?" Ah! It's so bad. In the movie, it's more funny. Like, me, I can't do it. I can't pull off the badness of that scene without it just sounding like I'm doing a parody of it. No, it's very much like that, where he goes, "Is this what you want from me?" And he's still crying and stuff. It's just really bad. It's awful. And that was a long build up to that, but really I had to explain it all because it's real sad. It's real somber. He's crying. He just killed a bunch of men that were, most of them were pretty innocent for the most part. Even later on, he's about to kill the guy he even saved, but Apocalypse shows up and kills them all for him. Well, that's later, though. That didn't happen before the "did you blah blah blah, fuck you," whatever. But that was one of the funniest scenes in the movie. Oh man, so good. A couple things I want to mention, like Apocalypse recruiting all these the 4 horsemen of the Apocalypse, which is just 4 mutants that he has that do his bidding, I guess. Which, if he's all powerful, I don't know why he needs 4 people to help him, but whatever. Whatever. He's still vulnerable in some way, so I guess it makes sense. But him recruiting all these mutants, like, immediately, he's in a slumber for thousands of years. That's why he hasn't been around for a long time, because something happened in the ancient Egypt sequence where he was, like, trapped under rubble for thousands of years, and then a bunch of, like, cultists, like, find his grave and they, like, chant some stuff and he wakes up. Which I don't think they actually, them chanting wakes him up. It was more the sunlight hitting him woke him up, but whatever. And he immediately wakes up and he's just like, I'm going to go recruit me some Apocalypse guys. And immediately he walks out and Storm's there. Storm is right there with black hair, and he's just like, I want her on my team, and she's on his team. He gives her, like, ultimate power, like, strong powers, because I guess he could, like, if you have, like, a mutant power, he can, like, multiply it or enhance it. That's one of his abilities. And one of the funniest moments is this movie has a lot of, like, hair stuff in it. Like, Xavier loses his hair later, and in this sequence where he recruits Storm, he even, like, when he's enhancing her abilities, her hair starts to go white. That's why her hair is white in all these movies. There you go. If you want to know, Apocalypse made her hair white. Why? Because, I don't know. Whatever. Even I think Angel. Does Angel have white hair? No, he might have black. Whatever. Anyway, the point is that there's a lot of hair stuff going on, and this goes on for about 3 other characters. Like, Apocalypse just shows up and says, "Yo, come with me. You're a part of this." And he's like, "Okay." Like, Angel makes kind of sense because Angel lost one of his wings and he can't fly anymore. So Angel is just like, "All right, fine. I'll be a part of this crew. You just gave me some badass, like, metal angel wings. Okay, I'll be a part of this crew." He shaves his head again. A lot of hair stuff. He shaves his head so he has, like, regular hair, and then he just shaves it so, like, both sides are like there's no hair here, and then there's a lot of hair up on top, which I don't know what that's called, but it's silly. I don't like it. I'm sure someone's gonna say, "Well, your fucking neckbeard's silly." Well, fuck you, you dickhead. I mean, I know it is. Fuck you. I only wear it because it pisses you off. I wear it like I could just, like, Velcro rip it off or something. But but, like, the whole recruiting sequence, I was just like, oh, look at all these coinkydinks. Like, he just, like, coincidentally Storm's there, and then coincidentally Storm knows about another guy, Angel. Or no, they go to, no, it's Storm knows about a recruitment center which leads Apocalypse to Psylocke, who, by the way, Psylocke, everybody's like, "Oh, Psylocke's gonna be so cool. She has the swords. Olivia Munn's been training and stuff." Psylocke is not only barely used in this, but Psylocke is horrible. Like, Olivia Munn is so bad in this. She says, like, 3 lines of dialogue, and all 3 lines are, like, terrible. And she doesn't do shit in this movie. She whips her swords around a little bit, and then she cuts a car, and that's it. She's so underused and terrible, it doesn't even fucking matter. If you're looking forward to Psylocke, you're not gonna see her. You know? You're not going to see her almost at all in this movie. So anyway, he recruits all these people, whatever. And then there's a sequence where they recruit Magneto. And Magneto's like, "Fine, I'll do it. I hate humans because they kill my family again." So now, and this is so stupid. So now Apocalypse out of nowhere just decides, you know what, Angel and all these other people, we need costumes. So out of nowhere, it's like a cutscene. I'm not a cutscene. It's just like a quick, like, cut, and then out of nowhere, everybody has costumes on. Psylocke has a costume on, Storm has a costume on, Angel has a costume on, and even Magneto has a costume on, and then he gets the helmet too. I'm just like, the helmet makes sense, so, you know, Xavier can't use his, like, mind or whatever, but why does everybody have costumes on? Psylocke has, like, this purple, stupid-looking shit, and I'm just like, what? Why does everybody need costumes? Like, why? Like, I get it with the X-Men. Like, they're the X-Men. They want to, like, I don't know. Actually, I don't get that either. Fuck it. I don't know. I don't get any superhero costume, I guess. But why out of nowhere, why would Apocalypse, of all people, an over-serious villain, would be like, hey, Psylocke, I made this nice little purple onesie for you. Here you go. Like, I don't know. It was so stupid to me. And everybody looks silly, especially Psylocke. Psylocke is so bad in this. I already mentioned this, but the Quicksilver scene was great. I really enjoyed the Quicksilver scene. But I just found it to be, like, it made more sense, like, how goofy it was in this one, because the whole tone was goofy. But, like, I just didn't really like all the overuse of CG. Like, you could tell, like, all the close-up shots of a lot of the actors, like, flying towards the camera when he's grabbing them to get them out of the exploding building. Like, a lot of it, like, there's one shot of him, like, holding a dog and trying to get him out of the building, and it's, like, a close-up shot of the dog. You can tell the dog's CG and stuff, and the background, everything's CG, all the explosions and stuff. And it's a nice sequence. The whole building is exploding, and he's, like, saving everybody. And it has kind of, like, a stylized look to it, because, obviously, it's not meant to look completely real. It's supposed to be kind of corny and fun. But I don't know, it kind of threw me off here and there. Also, it went on, I think, a little bit too long. It was like a 3-minute scene. I think it could have been cut down maybe a minute, and it could have still been a great scene. But overall, it was a great scene, either way. Psylocke to talk about Storm and Xavier's hair. I talked about Storm. Xavier's hair, the reason why he loses his hair, people. For people that really want to know, this whole movie, the only thing you can leave the movie knowing that is something that you didn't know before is how he loses his hair. That's really it. That's it. That's really the only new thing you know here. Also, maybe Quicksilver is the son of Magneto, which we don't even know if that's true. I'm sure it's true in the comics, but we don't even know if it's true in this movie, because we'll see in the future. Maybe it is true, but it doesn't matter. Xavier loses his hair because Apocalypse wants to have his ability, Xavier's ability, to read people's minds, pretty much, and, you know, like, talk to people through their minds and stuff, so you can, like, I guess, recruit all the other mutants that don't want to die and stuff, and also give warning to all the humans that we're about to, like, destroy yo asses. And he wants to take over his body, because I guess Apocalypse can, like, transfer bodies. You see this in the beginning of the movie. He could transfer his being, I guess, himself into a different body when his body gets old, or he finds a new mutant that has more abilities than him, and he likes that shit. So I guess he transfers from body to body, and along the way he actually, from each body he goes into, he actually starts to acquire all their abilities, which is actually kind of cool. He's like a mutant Pokemon, where he's, like, collecting all the abilities of all these mutants, which is actually a cool idea. I wish they did that more, where he, like, didn't have these horsemen. I would have liked it better if he didn't have these horsemen, and he just, like, consumed all these mutants, and, like, he now has the power of Storm, or he has, like, he can grow angel wings whenever he wants or something. It would be silly, but it would still fit with the tone, and it would have made us like the villain a little bit more, because we would have saw more of him fighting and all that. But whatever. Anyway, Xavier loses his hair because for some reason when he's transferring into Xavier's body, for whatever reason, his hair just starts falling off. Like, in the beginning, you see an Oscar Isaac without the makeup, like, laying there, and I guess he's the body that he's going to transfer into. Whoever he was before that, we never know. And he has no hair on his body or his head or whatever. So Xavier is getting transferred, and he just loses his hair. They don't really explain why he loses his hair, really. He just loses his hair because he's transferring... Apocalypse is transferring himself into Xavier. There's a lot of really dumb moments. There's a whole moment where Xavier and Apocalypse are fighting inside their own minds. Like, they're actually fighting. Like, literally in their own minds, because they're both, like Xavier goes into Apocalypse's mind and starts fighting Apocalypse. And I'm not talking about, like, with, like, words or, like or whatever. They're like Xavier is straight up beating the shit out of Apocalypse, and then Apocalypse starts beating the shit out of Xavier. It just does not feel like a Professor X thing to do. It feels like maybe a Professor X thing to do when he was younger, but now, like, even First Class, it wouldn't make any sense because he was still more methodical and he was still more of a kind of a free loving dude kind of. He was kind of a hippie in the first movie, but and even in the last one when he was all like broken and stuff, he doesn't want to do any of this stuff. It didn't feel like he would still be that kind of character that would just like start punching someone in the face and going, "This is my house, bitch." He says that. He says, "You're in my house now, bitch." He says that. Like, I don't know. It just felt out of character completely, and it kind of ruined that character a little bit for me because even later on, when they have to defeat Apocalypse, he tells Jean Grey, because if you saw X-Men 3, Jean Grey has this ability where she turns into the Phoenix or whatever, and she could like burn everything away and kill everything, and she has all this unlimited power. And in those movies, Professor X doesn't want her to use that because she can't control the powers. In this movie, he says, "Unleash the power of the Phoenix, kill Apocalypse, fuck his ass up." And she does, and Apocalypse just like burns away. And I'm just like, what? Professor X wouldn't do this stuff. They kind of made Professor X an idiot in this movie. And it kind of bummed me out because I love Professor X when Patrick Stewart and James McAvoy are playing them. And I loved it in the last movie, especially when they're like communicating to each other in that last one. Old Xavier and young Xavier. I thought that was a great scene. One of the best scenes in any of the X-Men movies. And I just found it to be kind of terrible. Alright, now let's get to the Wolverine scene, which really I could have talked about this in the not spoiler section because they spoiled it in the last trailer, which admittedly I knew Wolverine was going to have somewhat of a role. Like even the X-Men movies where Wolverine's not in it, like First Class, he makes a cameo. So in this one, he makes a extended cameo. In First Class, it was just like, you know, they come into a bar and he says, "Fuck off," that's it. And it's the funniest moment. And in this movie, Wolverine is captured by Stryker, the guy that was in X-Men 2, and he was in X-Men Origins, and he was in the last one too. He's played by some guy that looks like Sean William Scott. I wonder if anybody else would agree. I wonder if anybody's actually watching it at this point. I'm not even sure. But I might even separate like the review from the spoiler discussion. I think that's probably a good idea. But anyway, just one thing I really didn't like in that scene, even though it's really, really cool because Jean Grey like unleashes Wolverine and Wolverine just starts mowing down everybody in this like facility. I'm not gonna explain what this facility is and why Jean Grey's there. It doesn't matter. I really like that scene, and it's even like really violent at times, even though you don't ever see Wolverine like slash someone and you can see like a giant like gash or like a stab wound. You see mostly like the camera whips away and then you see blood hit the wall or whatever. So it's violent in a way. You see blood, but you don't see it actually coming out of bodies. But one thing I had a problem with that scene is the end. The whole sequence is really badass and really cool until the end where Jean Grey and Wolverine have a stare off because Wolverine's still like an animal at this point and doesn't really recognize that, you know, other people can not be just dead to him. Like, and he sees Jean Grey and he kind of recognizes her. You can tell, but he doesn't recognize her completely because, you know, his memory has been like kind of wiped at this point, and also she's young, and he kind of goes like, and they kind of have a stare off. Jean Grey like gives him like some of his memories back because she has like mind powers, and then I'm just like, again, it was like Magneto where it was like a really good scene even though they're staring at each other for too long. It was a little creepy. Even though I think she's of age anyway, so it's maybe not that weird. No, it's weird. Hugh Jackman's like 85 years old at this point, which hey. You know, kudos, man. You look great. But they stare at each other for way too long, and then Wolverine starts booking it. He just like runs out of the facility into this obviously CG'd or green screen background, which is supposed to like be like a snowy environment. It looks really bad, and he just starts running. And the shot is hilarious of him running out of the facility. It's like this. Here, it's like back of this. And it lasts like that long of him just like running out of the facility, and you just see kind of like the side, like the back of his head and the back of his body just like running out of it. It was really funny. Again, these are things that I find funny, and I think a lot of people would. Besides that, the Wolverine sequence was good. I think that's about it. Do I have anything else to say? That's all I have on the list. But is there anything else to say? It was a fun movie. It's enjoyable. I was even considering seeing it one more time just to see, like, I care if I missed anything. There's a whole, of course, like every one of these Marvel style movies, there was a scene at the end of the credits. This one was about the Essex? I think the Essex Corporation, which I don't know who they are. But from what I heard, it might be leading to a Mr. Sinister thing, which is a Marvel villain I only know from the Deadpool video game. So, and in the Deadpool video game, he's just one giant joke. So hopefully, they do him kind of right in the next X-Men movie if he's in it. I don't know. Who could Mr. Sinister be played by? I don't know. Ethan Hawke. I only say that because he was in the movie Sinister. That's all I got. So anyway, there you go. That's all I got to say about this. It's a movie. Go check it out. You've probably already seen it if you really wanted to see it. But from what I've heard, this is going to be one of the lower grossing X-Men movies. And it's all because they had to make the tone all stupid and silly. Good shit. So anyway, there you go. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you. And until next time, goodbye.